I've always been a fan of cowboys and gunslingers. There's an undeniable swagger that comes from drawing a 6-shooter from your belt and fanning the hammer on 6 homeboys that were asking for trouble. In the Destiny universe, gunslingers are a bit different. They've obviously still got guns, but they're not afraid to use a knife. I should rephrase that, they're not afraid to use all the knives. The Way of 1000 Cuts is the newest addition to the Hunter's Solar subclass, and it's taking its nomenclature very seriously. This subclass branch is one of the strongest in the game because its abilities are both powerful and intuitive. Now, even though the Way of 1000 Cuts is easy to pick up and play, there are a few tricks that can help you master it, so let's get started with the overview. This subclass branch is centered around the melee ability Knife Trick and the passive ability Playing with Fire. Knife Trick throws out 3 knives in a cone that widens as the knives travel forward. Each knife can hit a separate target or a single target, and the knives can deal precision damage. Knives also burn targets they hit. The passive Playing with Fire activates whenever you kill an enemy with a knife or a burning enemy. Playing with Fire can stack up to 3 times and lasts for 15 seconds. Once it's at maximum stacks, your knife cooldown will be about 6 seconds, and while you're at max stacks, it's very easy to keep the buff running for minutes at a time. With that said, your first knife throw is crucial to your success with this subclass. Because Knife Trick throws multiple knives with each activation, it's possible to catch up to 3 enemies in a single throw. If you do that and kill them all with the initial throw or while they're burning, you'll set yourself up with maximum stacks and you'll be throwing knives like dollar bills at the strip club right away. If your first throw only burns or kills a single enemy, then you'll have to be a bit more careful with your follow-up throws, and you'll be crunched for time. 1 stack of Playing with Fire drops your knife cooldown to 12 seconds, which leaves you with 3 seconds to kill an enemy for your second stack. Once you have 2 stacks, you don't have to stress as much about your throws, and of course, at 3 stacks, you make it rain. Next up, the Burning Edge passive causes your dodge to recharge faster while enemies are burning. Against most trash enemies, this won't come into play, but it does have value against major and boss enemies. If you're using Gambler's Dodge, you can combo knife throws and the dodge for a constant stream of ability and burn damage in addition to your primary special and heavy damage. For Marksman's Dodge, you can keep weapons with slow reload speeds topped off while fighting majors or bosses. However, this does require you to have 3 stacks of Playing with Fire to be effective. The final ability for Way of 1000 Cuts is the super ability Blade Barrage. On activation, your character sends out 2 volleys of explosive knives that damage all enemies hit twice, once from the initial impact and once from the explosion. Although it looks like you can just point the super in the general direction of enemies and cause massive destruction, that isn't completely the case. The knives from your Blade Barrage will lock onto targets based on the enemies that were around your reticle during the throwing animation. Additionally, you can aim each of your volleys at a different group of adds if you snap your reticle to them fast enough. Besides that, there isn't much to this super. It's essentially the Hunter's answer to the Warlock's Nova Bomb. For weapon pairings, mid to long range options will serve you the best. Pulse rifles, auto rifles, and hand cannons are solid options. Although the Way of 1000 Cuts is a melee focused subclass, its melee has range, and with enough practice you can reliably hit targets from a decent distance away. Furthermore, this subclass doesn't have any innate health sustain, so close quarters combat is a bit more dangerous. If you're feeling daring, you can also use the Fighting Lion exotic grenade launcher. It has phenomenal synergy with the throwing knives and makes for a very explosive ad clearing and boss damage build. For exotic armor selection, the Ophidia Spathe is a best in slot item for all the gunslinger branches, but it works exceptionally well with the Knife Trick and Playing with Fire. The Ophidia Spathe grants you an additional knife charge. The ability to gain 2 or 3 stacks of Playing with Fire quicker is invaluable. Another solid option is the young Ahamkara's Spine. It enhances the Trip Mine Grenade duration and blast radius and causes ability damage to grant Trip Mine Grenade energy. Because you have access to Playing with Fire and Knife Trick, it's incredibly easy to constantly refill your grenade for a lot of destructive potential. The only downside for the young Ahamkara's Spine is the Trip Mine itself. It's not the best grenade for PvE, but with practice it can be super effective. Finally, the Dragon Shadow exotic chest piece is a great way to enhance your neutral game. Dodging reloads all of your equipped weapons and increases your weapon handling and movement speed for a short time. What's cool about the Dragon Shadow is it grants Gambler's Dodge the reloading properties of Marksman's Dodge. For armor perks, the obvious choice is the helmet perk Hands On, which grants bonus super energy on melee kills. If you're running with the young Ahamkara Spine, you can go for Ashes to Assets instead. This grants bonus super energy on grenade kills. For mods, there's no real need for melee cooldown reduction because of playing with fire, but a very strong case can be made for class ability cooldown reduction from Paragon mods and grenade cooldown reduction from Ordnance mods. Overall, the Way of 1,000 Cuts is one of the strongest hunter subclasses in the game. All of its abilities have great synergy with each other, and they have fun interactions with the base hunter abilities. Playing with fire and knife trick are the most important abilities to consider. Make sure you land your initial knife throw so you can build your stacks. Once you're at 3 stacks, go wild. Burning Edge is another important ability. Against bosses and major enemies, you can combo your knives and gambler's dodge for some serious damage without expending much ammo. Finally, be careful out there. This subclass doesn't have any innate health sustain, so keeping your weapons mid and long range will keep you safe but close enough to reliably hit enemies with your knives. But then again, if you're a true badass gunslinger hunter, you'll get in the thick of the action and kill your enemies before they kill you. And there we go, that's going to do it for the overview of the Way of 1,000 Cuts subclass for the Hunter. It's easy to pick up and it's certainly not incredibly complicated to master, but if you don't understand how all of the abilities work together and when you can apply them, then you won't be unleashing its full potential. And that potential is very high. Comboing throwing knives with Burning Edge and Gambler's Dodge makes me feel like I'm playing an entirely different game from Destiny 2 because I'm spamming abilities like a wild man. And of course, using the Fighting Lion with throwing knives is some of the most satisfying stuff you can do in this game, period. If you don't think that's true, then there's something wrong with you. With all of that said, we're gonna wrap it up here by saying the name of the game is Destiny 2, the name of the channel is iBluairJgR. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Let me know how you feel about the Way of 1,000 Cuts compared to the original 2 Gunslinger branches. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.